So, first of all, congratulations with your 8th album.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yes?
Well rested, well traveled.
Yes, you're on promotion tour for 14 days already?
Yeah, around 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like that. But yeah, but this is already coming to an end pretty soon. Tomorrow we get a promo day in Helsinki, and after that I'm gonna jump onto a training trip.
Finally.
So, yeah, I've been in a good spirit for the whole this time, and everything's been good. And I think all of us have stayed energetic and enthusiastic, but somehow we feel really good when I think about the tomorrow.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, about the new album, the title is inspired by Darwin, but can you tell us a bit more about the inspiration?
Yeah, well, this album title and the supposed theme, if there is one, they come of course from Thomas, and he's been getting around these Richard Dawkins books lately, and also, well, he read Original Species already way back in time, and so this is where the kind of this science aspect comes to the album. But then again, I've also been always interested in certain scientific things, mainly about astronomy, which turned me also into science fiction in literature and movies and all that. So I'm no stranger to these ideas. Science fiction deals with formation of solar system and life emerging, also pretty much also in some other places which we don't really know anything about yet.
Yeah. So saying this, did you yourself have anything to do with the songwriting of the album, or was it just Thomas?
Well, I did have something to do with it. I have quite a few songs where there's some music from me, and this time even a few lyrical lines also.
Yes.
But it was in no way purposeful for me. I just had a bunch of demos I had recorded in my home studio, and in order to sing something, all of them had written some lyrics, and some of them I actually ended up writing pretty seriously. And when I brought the CD to Thomas, if he wants to see if there's anything to fit the album, he also saw some of the lyrics and said that these are the things I was just trying to write about this thing, and then you nailed it with these lines and all that, and could we use this? No? Hey, it's your turn. That if you think it's okay, then it's totally okay for me.
Yes.
Yeah, let's put them in. Okay. So, yeah. And that is how it came to be. So now I'm in a couple of pieces. I'm also a lyrical co-writer. But yeah, I think this is what it is, to collaborate between different people and bandmates and all that. You actually complement each other's works.
Yes.
Which is just a great way of doing things.
So most of this happens in the cabin. We've seen your videos.
Yeah.
That's where all these magic happens.
Pretty much, yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about what's going on in the cabin? You just work from 9 to 5, or how does it go a day?
Not really 9 to 5. We don't have that strict rules. I'd say that what we at the rehearsal period, when we had this one house there at the campsite.
Yes.
Like dedicated to playing and recording upstairs, we built our own studio and all that. I'd say we go around 11 o'clock to do a couple, 2 to 3 hours of playing, then off to do some eating, maybe some water jetting or swimming or whatever. Summer was really good in Finland, and then go back for a few hours to do another go through songs and all that, and then gather around the campfire and start talking all kinds of humorous shit, listen to whatever anybody wants to play on a stereo system we had there and all that. So it was really I'd say it was a lot of work, but also at the same time very relaxed, enthusiastic and motivated, so it never felt like, even though we did a hell of a lot.
Yes. And didn't it happen that then, if you spend so much time together making this album, that at one point you don't hear the difference between one note and the other anymore, or one song and the other, because you're working so intense?
That's always the danger, but when that happens, it's better to take a break and go a little bit outside and do something else, which we had plenty of opportunity for that in those surroundings, because you got lots of free space, and it's not just one cabin, it's actually a whole campsite, so you could have a little cabin for yourself, and And if you wanted to lie down and read, that's okay. If you want to warm up the sauna and jump into the lake, you can do that. And then also, I made an investment last spring and bought myself a water jet, which I brought there. And of course, I was the first one to fall off and break my rib also.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ended up for a week. It was pretty hard to try to sing because your air intake seriously suffers with that kind of a little twinge in your side.
Yes.
But I got better.
It's a real danger being a metal musician.
Yeah, well, but you also gotta have some fun.
Yes, true. So, since this is your 8th album, how do you keep yourself challenged? That doesn't it not let it get boring?
I suppose it's all a matter of having the right kind of a open-minded attitude towards things. Whatever you see or hear can be a source of inspiration. It can be whoever is walking down the street right now. It can be movie, book, piece of somebody else's music. And everything you take in with an open mind and find yourself liking it. Well, certainly when you're inspired to write about something, these things will combine somehow in your head and they will affect how you write things in the future. And again, be open for the stuff that needs to come out of it.
Yes. So, how was working with Floor for the first time?
Very good.
Yes.
Well, not really for the first time. We had
recording.
Doing shows and rehearsing songs and all that. That was easy already from the beginning when she jumped in to a kind of a difficult situation. But we managed to survive and came out, I'd say, really victorious. So the vibe already before getting into rehearsals and recording studio was really good. And when she came in right from the first day that we started rehearsing, was there with us, we would actually start looking at the structures of the songs in a kind of a holistic way, both from the instruments and vocal side, and I was planning bass lines and vocal harmonies at the same time, and everybody had their say about arrangements, that if there's a comfortable way of doing this, like that, or would there be a better way. And a lot of ideas flying around, a lot of them got tried out and tested, and the best ones survive, worst ones go off and die. And in a way, it was really, really organic and really easy with everyone there, Floor included. And that was just great, because I think that as these vibes go from personal into professional into making music, everything is really on a good level, and also at the summertime.
Yes. So was it any different than with your previous singers, or?
Well, the main difference was, of course, that so far with Tarja and with Anet, we actually rehearsed almost all the music on the album by ourselves guys, doing the bottom tracks, and I was singing over some of them and all that. And they kind of came in later on to complement the work with the vocals and all that. And this time around, we really had the time to take the whole group in and build that on that wide. And then we also did this for the first time, that we didn't do any kind of demos after rehearsing. We moved straight on to the album recordings, and that, to my opinion, managed to transfer this organic band vibe very well onto the album, better than we've ever done before.
Is this also one of the reasons you decided to make all the small videotapes for your fans?
I don't know. I guess it was just something that came out from the video director, that we could do these things, and since he's a familiar guy and all that, we can trust him to make these things from the point of view of band, even though some of them narrator lines sometimes sound to me a little bit cheesy, that they're advertising themselves. Where I don't interfere with his work anyway, because most of it is still very much from the angle of the band and how we want to present these things, how they really are.
Yes.
And this is why I basically felt that it would be okay with it. And otherwise, like building up the hype of the album or all that, I'd say we could have done with less even, because I like to keep things like a little bit more mysterious and vague until the real thing hits you.
I don't really see it as advertising, but I kind of see it as a unique opportunity for the fans to see how you guys work. And personally, I really like to see.
And that is what I meant when I said that he's like most of it is really from the angle of the band. That is good to me. But of course, with the narrator lines and all.
Yeah, all right.
It's sometimes you get a little bit of these things which to me sound like me. But I mean, 99% of that stuff is totally good.
So now I have a few questions from fans. Here in the Netherlands, we used to have an official Dutch fan club. It was called Stargazers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore, but there's still an online community with the same people, and there are some questions from them.
Okay.
The first main question everybody was asking: will there be a Dutch show in 2015?
I've seen the European tour dates one time briefly from a computer screen in an airport, so I'm not sure. I didn't really get, I don't even remember when it starts. But since Netherlands and the shows here have always been good, this has been a good territory to flex. I'd be really surprised if there wasn't a show.
Especially with Floor as yours.
Yeah, especially with Floor. So I'd say it's pretty certain that will happen, but I just don't have anything to back it up. I don't have any date or
all right.
exact timing or place.
So another one of the main questions was, how is your drummer Jukka doing? Because unfortunately he wasn't.
Yeah, I think he's doing better now. And we didn't really let him go. We moved well because he's got the best business head from all of us. And somehow dealing with papers and clauses and contracts doesn't make him lose the sleep. So as idea of touring and all that and the usual chaos and mayhem, which is everlasting in musicians' life, that seems to ruin his sleep. But these things don't. So we kind of kept him still there, or asked him if he would like to try and stay, and so far he has, to stay as a CEO for our company. And there he is, still getting his income from something he helped to build himself and with his own hands. And that is, to me, really fair and square. So we're not really ready to let him go.
Will he ever come back? Or no? With his health?
We cannot really think about it that way right now. We got the album coming out, tour starting, and Kaitsu has already been booked for that, and he's made his plans for it. So let's come back to that when it's time, sometime after 2 years or something.
Yes, all right.
And think about it then, because now we don't really want to, and don't really care to.
So, being very successful as you are now, does the band have any dreams left? Anything they still want to accomplish?
All kinds of things. I even wrote to Virgin Galactic that if you get your machine together, would it be possible to take my mate Thomas and tiny keyboard and a tiny acoustic and go on the orbit around the Earth and do a song? But they didn't really reply anything. I got a vague reply that we're not ready yet and the trips will cost this and this much and blah blah blah. And that's it. Yeah, that would be a dream I would really like to do. Play a song from the orbit around the Earth. What the hell? Let's go to the Mars immediately.
All right. So last question came from a fan as well. If you were a cookie, what kind of a cookie would you be?
I don't know. I want to be likable.
Likeable.
Very tasty.
Like chocolate chip or anything? Or?
Chocolate chips are okay, but I really like these, the ones that have a little bit of marmalade and chocolate.
Yes.
And a soft cake bottom. Those I really like.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.